Today's October 31st, 2022. It's Halloween, and welcome to Ricky's Real Estate Rundown, where Oscar the Ostrich and I cover what you need to know about the greater Austin real estate market in 5 minutes or less. All right, let's go over the last 7 days of what we saw in the market. Over the last 7 days, we saw 750 new listings come on the market, and during the same time, 726 went under contract. If you've been following our weekly updates, you'll know that's actually the closest disparity that we've seen between new listings and under contracts. This is in part because we've seen an uptick in buyer activity and a downtick in new listings, which is typical this time of year. When we look at the properties that are currently on the market over the last 7 days, the average price is just over $673,000. Now, when we look at the properties that are under contract, that average is just over $580,000, and it took 51 days on average for those homes to go under contract. When we look at the sold average price of the last 7 days, it's just over $557,000. And on average, it took 47 days for those homes to go under contract. We also saw about 350 expired listings over the last 7 days. An expired listing is when a seller removes their property from the market, maybe their plans changed or perhaps they weren't able to get what they wanted for it. On average, those homes that expired were on the market for 86 days, and the average price for those just over $843,000. And looking at the last 30 days in terms of price reductions, we can see 31% of sellers decided to reduce their price. The largest segment of those reduced their price from 10 to 20%, and the second largest was from 5 to 10%. So what does this mean for buyers? It means with our Back to the Future program, it hasn't been a better time to buy a home in the last 5 years. We're able to get you the lower rates of yesterday to the low prices of today, and we combine that, it makes it a great time for you to buy a home. Now remember, if you're renting, your interest rate is 100%. So even if rates were at 10%, which they won't, it's still a lower rate than what you're paying if you're actually renting because you're building somebody else's wealth. What does this mean if you're a seller? If you're a seller, it's a great time to list your home. A lot of us feel like we're still in the middle of this market correction, and by listing now, you can take advantage of the market of today and not roll the dice for the market of tomorrow. Also know that with the current market, we can also usually get you what we call a lease back, which can be anywhere from a month to 2 months. A lease back is when you stay in the property even after you've sold it. So in essence, with an average 30-day escrow period, you're actually able to kind of figure out where you're going to go next. You have about 30 to 90 days to make that decision and figure that out. And of course, we can help you with that as well. Now, for those of you that follow Dave Ramsey, just a couple days ago, he came out and said it's a great time to buy a house. Ignore the interest rates, you can refinance, take advantage of today's low prices. He says that if you are prepared, it's a great time to buy a home. What does it mean to be prepared? He says that if you've paid off any and all of your debts and you have an emergency fund of 3 to 5 months or 3 to 6 months, excuse me. And then also making sure that your mortgage payment is not more than 25% of your monthly household income. Now, he says if you follow these guidelines, you'll be a homeowner with some major financial peace. So if you follow Dave Ramsey, even he is saying it's a great time to buy a property. Thank you for spending some time with me, and I'll see you next Monday.